Economic Development Committee, June 26, 2025.
I call the Economic Development Committee meeting to order at 6 o'clock p.m. Members present are Christopher Moritz, Terry Spiegel, myself, Vicki DeShawn as Vice Chair, and absent is Clarissa Scheffler-Slater. First on the agenda, public participation. Anyone wishing to speak to the committee, please come to the podium, state your name and address. Seeing no one, next on the agenda, open projects. Does anybody have any open projects they wish to discuss?
I do not.
And I have none to discuss other than I would like to point out that we can move the new members to the CIC, Community Improvement Corporation, because we approved that emergency legislation this past Tuesday. That's all I have. So with that being said, public participation again. Seeing no one, I adjourn the Economic Development Committee meeting at 6:01 p.m.
Public Lands and Buildings Committee, June 26, 2025.
I'm calling Public Lands and Buildings to order at 6:02 p.m. Members present are Terry Spiegel, Christopher Moritz, myself, Sierra and Sherrick Chair. Clarissa Scheffler-Slater is absent this evening. First up, we have the public participation. Okay, seeing none. We have the tower contracts, but we don't have anything to talk about with those quite yet. It was just to get them back in committee. And does anybody, and I'm looking at you, Mike, have any information on this Mansfield Street, the Air Scouts, Fremont Street? Because those were sent to us by Clarissa. So if you don't have any information on it yet, we can just table it for now because, all right.
Yep.
So with that, do we have anything on open projects we need to speak about? Do we have any more public participation? Okay, there's one.
Greg White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. So we're not going to be talking about 1308 Fremont Street tonight then?
No, we don't have all the information to go with it.
And then the Air Scott's contract, we're not going to be talking about that tonight
No.
either. So my question is this, and this is not against this committee, but every committee in general. When, according to the rules of council, anything that is to be discussed at council has to be public information. None of this was put on documents on demand, just like the others.
All of this was just referred. Some of it's just so that it can be in the open projects so we can talk about it at a later date when we get more information. That's what we were waiting to find out tonight. And due to the fact that the person who has brought most of it up is not able to be here,
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
figure out.
Well, I'm just making a general statement when council wants to talk about information that it has to be open to the public. Thank you.
All right, do we have any more public participation? All right, then seeing none at 6:04, I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
To meeting at 6:05. Members present, Sierra and Sherrick, Kevin Myers, Terry Spiegel, I myself, Chris Moritz. At this time, any public participation?
Greg White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. Like I said before, I am going to bring it up every time in service committee. So what's going on with wastewater treatment plant? What's the big holdups? I mean, I understand the law director's not here, so all he's saying is that it's a legal issue. But what's really going on? How much more money is this going to cost the residents of this town?
We've been told nothing yet.
Why is all the secrecy? I mean,
I'd
I'm
like
just
to know
going to
too.
bring it out every time.
I don't think EPA got back to them yet on anything.
So,
One time, because US EPA has turned it back over to Ohio EPA. And when that happens, it takes a little bit longer to get involved in it, so. From what I've heard, right? No.
I know
That's-
that was something where they were trying to.
well, I mean, you
decide
guys
to do
heard
what.
something, but the people of this town have heard nothing. The other question I have too is, are we changing the rate structure on the usage on water bills? That's what I'd like to know. I've heard rumored that there are plans to visit the how the system is set up from like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I've heard that someone is going to jiggle those around a little bit to create a new structure of
Oh, the
that-
tier levels, you
of the
mean?
tier levels.
No, that's not been discussed, as far as I know, with
Okay.
anybody in administration.
All right, because I heard that they need more revenue, so they were going to change the tier structure into groups. But, thank you.
Oh, Tommy's got something on that one.
Yeah.
Tommy Starner, Service Safety Director, Greg, we did look at that as far as trying to get more revenue into the water distribution. It doesn't bring in what we need, so, just so you know.
The answer's no.
It is a very sensitive issue on that.
Any more public participation? Okay, CSX agreement for Whetstone Crossing. Tommy, you want to speak on that one?
Might as well
I was just
say
gonna,
that.
I was just gonna read what you wrote earlier, but go ahead.
Well, Tommy Starner, Service Safety Director, I just wanted to make sure that we get this done for CSX. They need it for an easement to go, because we have our stormwater running under their tracks on Whetstone Street. We want to just make sure this continues, that they know that it's there, and we know that they know that it's there.
But we're just doing it until 2049?
Yeah, it's a continuous
It's a continuous thing, yeah.
contract with them.
Okay.
And I don't know why they set that up to begin with.
I was just curious why
It
that,
was a 10-year prior to that, and I don't know.
It's more than 10 years.
I mean,
so-
if we're having to do legislation each time, it'd be nice to ask them to make it a little longer.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But
I was gonna say, so that's what we need
The-
legislation?
Yeah, so
they-
you want that as an emergency to get it done?
Resolution is emergency, yeah.
And we would be wanting to authorize you to enter into a agreement
A lease
to,
agreement, yes.
an easement agreement.
easement agreement, yes.
Easement agreement.
I'd love to make a motion requesting emergency legislation authorizing the service director to enter a easement agreement with CSX Railway for the Whetstone crossing for the sewer line that goes under.
I'll second that.
Through May 21st, 2049.
As
49.
an emergency.
As emergency.
Yes, sir.
I'll second that.
It was already seconded.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Spiegel.
Good job.
You're welcome.
All right. Any open projects?
How about we
Oh,
vote
wait,
first?
Can we vote on it?
Oh, sorry. Got ahead of myself. I figured it'd go ahead. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I'm also an aye. I guess I gotta say it too. Motion passes.
Open projects.
Open projects.
Do we have any update on the Title IX information that's been,
We do not. Obviously Brandon's out right now, so I have not been in contact with him, see any farther than we are on that. The last version I seen on it did not have some of the corrections on it yet.
if you are able to get anything that is updated, could you forward it on to us
Oh, yeah.
for review?
Definitely,
That'd be great, thank you.
definitely. Because the one that's currently on there right now isn't quite right.
Yeah.
Public participation. See none, going to adjourn at 6:10.
Health and Safety Committee, June 26, 2025.
I call the Health and Safety Committee meeting to order at 6:11 PM. Members present, Kevin Myers, C. Aaron Sherrick, James Me, and myself on as chair. First on the agenda, public participation.
Greg White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. On the proposal, Smart Services, I just wanted to point something out. I have a question on it. It says under the first page, under scope of services, it's actually the second bullet point, data collection, new 8-hour per ODOT OATS manual from 6 to 10 a.m. and 2 to 6 p.m. Turning movement counts will be taken at the following locations when school is in session?
I'm going to be speaking on,
So I'm bringing that up because I find that shouldn't be in there because school's not in session right now. So, thank you.
any other public participation. Next on the agenda, we have the traffic study agreement. I received an email this morning from Dylan Wyatt with McKeever and Associates. Has given me permission to read the email. First off, the traffic study agreement was referred to our committee in error. There was to be no referral. It was just information to let us know that there is this traffic study agreement. And if I may, I'll read this email and hopefully this will clarify. Vicki, in Tuesday's council meeting, Tommy referred the South Sandusky Avenue traffic study back to Health and Safety Committee. Since you are the chair for this committee, I wanted to follow up with you regarding the specifics of the traffic study. After the June 5th committee meeting, we had the discussion internally, and we, meaning Jeff Dunn, our street superintendent, Mayor Truca, and Dylan himself, about the significance of removing the center turn lane from South Sandusky Avenue. We decided that such a decision should only be made once we have all the data necessary, rather than only on publicly available data from ODOT. We work with a company called Smart Services, Inc. on all traffic studies when the scope of work exceeds our abilities. We have discussed the proposition of removing the center turn lane from South Sandusky, and they, meaning Smart Services, they have submitted to us the following scope of services to assist with making the decision. So in summarizing that paragraph, what Mr. Wyatt is telling me is that because of the concerns that have been expressed by citizens, they have decided we're going to have the study done. And with this study, the traffic counts will be specifically turning movements, will be taken during peak hours on a Friday when school is in session. And I asked the very same question, Mr. White, of Mr. Wyatt. Well, we don't have a school. And I was thinking of Kilbourne School, because it's near Sandusky. And he said, Vicki, he goes, it's talking about schools in general. And they're looking to do this traffic study possibly the last week in August, when not only will schools be open, but we will still have the lake traffic. And the reason they want to do it on a Friday and again during school session and lake time is with schools being open, you do have more traffic on that road with, buses, parents taking their children to school, what have you. So that's why when school is in session, that's what that's referring to. Let's see here. Also and what they'll do is the traffic counts, they're going to do those at the following intersections. State Route 98, Sandusky Avenue, State Route 98, Beale Avenue, Sandusky Avenue, and William Street. These are all Sandusky Avenue, and here are the side streets. Beale Avenue, William Street, Home Circle Drive, Shell Avenue, Crescent Court, Bruce Avenue, Kilbourne Drive, Allen Avenue, Wallace, Southern, and Marion Road.
So all of them.
Again, yes, those streets where we have the turn lanes or the arrow turn lanes that we were looking to remove and people were concerned, there's going to be a traffic study to see if this is necessary. If the thought of the city is to make it a 2-lane, is that good or is it not good? And again, we'll be waiting for the study.
Did he mention is backing up, waiting on this traffic study till the end of August going to delay this project at all if the project comes to fruition?
That I did not ask that question. I thought we weren't doing the project until 2026.
Right, but everything had a timetable schedule.
Okay.
I didn't know if this,
It's pushed out to 2027.
so it does delay it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this does not. The
Yeah.
storm sewer project.
Okay. So this isn't going to cause any undue delay? Right.
And the cost to have this traffic study done is $18,500. And at the direction of the mayor, there's already been a contract entered into with the city and McKeever and Associates. The money has already been budgeted. Dylan wanted to let everyone know that. There's also going to be a study done if there is a need for protected left turn. In other words, the lights. Mr. Dillon has stated in here, just a reminder, that if the study results determine that a protected left turn phase is needed, that does not make the funds for such a project magically appear. A larger single signal head to accommodate the protected left turn right may require replacement of the support posts to meet current design standards. And a ballpark figure for that to be done down at Beale and at Southern is ballpark of $300,000 per intersection. So that's information that he, like I say, emailed to me. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy, to write those down and take them back to Mr. Wyatt. He was unavailable to attend tonight's meeting, and I so much appreciated the email that he sent, and hopefully that will enlighten the citizens who've been concerned about, if those turn lanes are removed. So we are getting an official study, traffic study done. Did you have any other questions, Mr. White? Okay.
I got a question. I just got one more.
If you would like to come to the podium then, Mr. Cady? And if you just state your name.
James Cady, formerly of 216 West Main
Okay.
Street. But question, on the right-of-way, every street got a right-of-way. What's the right-of-way out there? Because like Mary Street got a 66-foot right-of-way. What's the right-of-way on Sandusky Avenue?
That I do not know, but I will be happy to get that
what's the
answer for you.
right-of-way? Because if the right-of-way is big enough, why don't they take the right-of-way and move it out? And then when they redo it, me and Kevin was talking about this, make sure that the road is compacted enough and it don't leave the dips inside the road like downtown Sandusky. Because when if you go down Sandusky right now, they got puddles laying in the grooves.
Okay.
That's caused from the weight of the semi-trucks.
When Dylan Wyatt was here, I asked him if we had room to go back, and he did state no. I don't know the answer to the question you're asking, but I know
Yeah, it's the right of way.
we didn't have room to go any further wide.
Yeah, that's why I was wanting to know, what's the right-of-way out there? And if the city can't, I know because of he did say, because of underground wires and stuff.
Yeah.
But could they possibly put sidewalks and stuff out there?
They already have sidewalks there.
Not
All of
really.
it?
Not on all of it.
That's the only part of it.
Yeah.
No, it's only half of it. And like I said the one day, being a tractor and trailer driver, I'm guilty of it. I came down through here in the middle of 3 a.m. out of Sandusky when I was living in Sandusky. Came down through here. Had to be in Marion by 6 o'clock, I think it was 5 o'clock. I opened up my semi right out here, right at the split. And it was flashing yellow all the way down through there. I got up to 55 miles an hour. I ain't gonna sit there and lie. I wanted to get through these sirens. And when I got out there, if I wasn't paying attention, I snatched the wheel and there was a whole family. And I was talking to Dylan about this. There's a whole family walking right down the edge of the road. So I think there should be sidewalks. That's why I want to know the right of way.
Okay.
If there's the right of way, can't they put sidewalks out there instead of widening it? I understand how he wants to push the semis in the middle of the lane. That's perfect. But there's a right of way that they can put sidewalks on.
The other problem, we can't use street funds to create sidewalks. So it's a financial concern that we don't have an account to be able to put the sidewalks in because it's illegal for us to use our street funds to do sidewalks.
I get what you're saying, though.
Okay.
That sucks.
Thank you, Mr. Cady. Okay. Anything more on our traffic study agreement? So there's nothing again for us to do, just information. Next is our traffic control map update, Galen Street one-way. Letter we received from the Traffic Commission dated June 12th, 2025. The Bucyrus Traffic Commission is submitting to council for review, one, amending the traffic control map to establish Galen Street as a one-way west from Walnut Street to Spring Street. And this coincides with railroad crossing upgrades being performed along the portion of Galen Street, along this portion of Galen Street. I did get from Miranda a copy of an ordinance, this is an old one, that dealt with amending the traffic control map to make a street a one-way. So we have something to give to Mr. Gilbert for reference-wise. Does anybody have any discussion about the Traffic Commission's recommendation? Does anybody want to?
I would love to make a motion requesting legislation authorizing change to the traffic control map, making Galen a one-way street westbound between Walnut and Spring.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that because I want to discuss it.
Okay, we have a motion for Myers, a second for me. Discussion?
So refresh my memory, exactly why do they want to make it a one-way street?
Mr. Starner, excuse me, if you wouldn't mind coming forward and answer that question?
Yeah, Tommy Starner, Service Safety Director. The width of the street, in order to have the parking and also the right-of-way of the railroad itself, needs to be just one way. And in order to take away that parking for those houses down through there, and also they're going to move all the utilities from the north side to the south side, so that eliminates that whole way.
I remember the whole thing now. Thank you. I
Yep.
appreciate that. And yes. it's a
Thank you.
good idea.
Any more discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. Myers?
Yes.
Sherrick?
I'm sorry, I was just trying to picture this road.
Oh, that's okay.
It's the one that goes down along the railroad tracks.
But I was looking from Walnut to Spring Street. I'm seeing it by Northway.
So it's starting there at the courthouse, but on the north side of the tracks.
Oh, okay, that makes so much more sense. Closing it on
Then
the other,
next
it
to-
wasn't highlighting it now on the other side. I'm like, it doesn't go towards Spring. Why? Okay, that makes so much more sense. Yeah, yes.
Me,
Yes.
and then myself, Deshawn, is, I vote yes as well. Motion passes. Next on the agenda, 1308 Fremont Street. Again, this was brought up by Mrs. Slater Tuesday evening, and she was unavailable to attend tonight's meeting, so we will table that as was done back in public lands, yes. Next, open projects. Anybody have anything to discuss on open projects? Jim?
No, I'm good.
Aaron? Did Aaron?
She shook her head.
Oh, okay. And
I heard it rattle.
There were rocks rattling over here.
Kevin?
No, ma'am.
I have a couple, one question. On the open projects, 11/21/2017, it's identified as the fire department staffing. If you look over to the right, that all had to do when we were applying for a SAFER grant, which we didn't get. and nothing's been done since 2020. I think that can be removed.
And if it needs re-referred, so be it.
I agree.
Okay, so we'll remove the fire department staffing. Next, April 1, 2025, Traffic Commission letter, the repealing of, oh no, I don't want to say that because we did repeal 4696 at Tuesday night's meeting, but that was not an emergency, so we have 30 days before it becomes law, so we want to leave that on here until, okay. The appointment of Floyd Farmer, Steve Pfeiffer, and Ron Bors to the Public Property Maintenance Appeals Board. That's how it was referred back in 2024. However, now what we're looking at is the appointment of Mr. Farmer, Mr. Pfeiffer, and Lisa Alsep. Now, there was some discussion back and forth on this matter. I had emails back and forth with the law director. If you look at your property maintenance, what do I want to say here? Help me here, Jim. I want to say yes, the 2012 International Property Maintenance Code. In that code, it talks about who's supposed to appoint, the individuals that should be appointed, what have you. I was questioning who was to do the appointment. I was taking the CEO as the mayor. Let's see if, or no, I'm muttering here, excuse me. The chief appointing authority. So that's chief appointing authority. I thought it was the mayor. The law director said in his opinion, and he thought in this particular instance, it was the council president. So in a long shot, how this all ended when we were talking about it back on April the 3rd, 25, during our Health and Safety Committee meeting, we ended up with Mr. Myers stated, you're in agreement, that's the council president's role in this instance. Gobrick said correct, that it's the council president who does the appointment. Kevin went on to say, all right, I asked that we indefinitely table this and let the council president have the information. So then a motion was made that, I stated Myers is making a motion that we're going to table and we're just going to pass this information on to Mr. Fankhauser, and that was all approved. Well, what's the information that we're passing on to Mr. Fankhauser?
I think it was letting him know that that was his
and like
purview
these,
to make that appointment.
the 2012, okay, great.
Yeah.
Well then, I will take care of that and pass that on to the council president to take care of based on the opinion of our law director.
And it
Is
might
that
be,
how it was done previously?
Pardon?
Do we know how the last ones were put in by legislation? That's what I thought.
And there's supposed to be alternates. We've never had alternates.
Right. I know we've never had a woman elected to get people.
And, I was just concerned that it didn't appear that we've properly been doing the appointing and what have you, so then that's what I'll do. I'll pass this all on to Mr. Fankhauser to take care of. Now, with that in mind, I guess the question is, since this isn't a council matter, or is Mr. Fankhauser going to be coming back and looking to us to do anything legislation-wise?
Maybe we should sit on it just in case.
Leave it on.
I would leave it on there in
Great.
case somebody changes their mind and says it's our responsibility again.
Okay.
We don't have to get to the reform
That's what we'll
process.
do. All right. That's it for me. Thank you. Okay, any more public participation? Yes, I'm sorry.
To answer Mr. Cady's question about right-of-ways,
Okay,
South Sandusky Street has a right-of-way of 60 feet wide. Since the existing pavement has 3 lanes technically, northbound, southbound, and the center turn lane, pavement is approximately 30 feet wide. So you only have not much from the back of curb out to where the right-of-way ends. And then you have a bunch of existing utilities in that area that you can't really put a sidewalk down. And then, comparing, like, example, Milan Ave in Erie County, when the right-of-way is 120 feet wide, they have plenty of room for sidewalks. So, but I know not all the major well, yeah, most of the major streets in Erie County and Sandusky do have sidewalks. But some of our major streets, we don't, like Marion and Sandusky, south.
Just to add to that, if we have them moving poles back, we have to pay for that too.
For existing right-of-way to be taken, yeah.
Actually, the utility.
Mr. Cady, would you like to come to the podium, please? Thank you.
Dylan said it last time we was here. Actually, you gotta get the utility office, the Columbia Gas, what Columbia Gas could use still right there. It's them fiber optic lines that they have to move back out of the right of way, and that's what he said, it could cost millions. But the city has to pay so much with the utility. Dylan said it at the last meeting.
Right, if we have to move a pole, we have to pay so much on that,
Right.
to have them move a pole.
Correct. But I think that'd be the smartest thing, being a semi-truck.
If money was no object,
No, I understand
No problem.
that. I understand money, you gotta budget your money. But me being a tractor trailer driver, no matter how, me and Kevin was talking about this Tuesday, no matter how much you move us, it's still that we have to watch out for the pedestrians. And you know how many pedestrians sit there and wear light clothing to walk? I mean, I'm guilty of it. You see, I walk down here like this, but at the same time, nobody does it. It could happen in the middle of the instant. You can open your eyes, and then boom, they're there. And then me being a tractor and trailer driver, I'm automatically at fault. It doesn't matter if they jump out in front of me. It's my fault. So no matter how y'all move us out there on 98, it's still gonna be dangerous for us. That's all I'm saying is, it's like even the right of way, okay? It's got a right of way, put sidewalks in, or go to the property people and be like, hey, okay, we'll pay so much, you pay so much. 50-50 deal.
you're talking about the property owners?
Correct.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's what I'm about.
But like, in Sandusky, like he said, in Sandusky, that's the way it does. The city takes care of the sidewalks, but the property owner, they'll go out, they pay for it, they don't wanna pay, okay, we'll just assess it onto your tax. That's how they do it in big cities. But I know Bucyrus is little. But that's how I was asking about the right of way, what's the right of way, because the sidewalk would be nice up there.
Thank you, Mr. Cady, and thank you, Mike, for that information.
I have something else.
Okay.
Just to let you know, there are plenty of plates out on the streets right now because of Omni Fiber putting in fiber bores. So just be careful driving around, especially on the east side right now. They have a few plates on Warren Street and Prospect Street currently. So just to let you know on that one.
And you're saying plates?
Steel plates over the road.
Okay.
Over holes they've dug.
Gotcha, okay. Okay, any other public participation? Seeing no one, I will adjourn the Health and Safety Committee meeting at 6:37 PM.
June 26, 2025.
Platting Committee come to order. Members, Sierra and Sherrick, Clarissa Slater's absent, Vicky Deshawn, James Mead Chair at 6:38. First up, public participation. Seeing none, we'll move on to the annexation of the Crawford County Recycling Center. We're gonna, if it's okay, we'll just table this till we get more information on it. I received a text earlier that it's just to be put in this committee for future reference.
Okay, that works.
Planning Commission letter. Everybody got a copy of that? Proposed vacation of the part of Pleasant Hill beginning at the north end being 236.80 in length and 16 foot in wide. Subsequently, the establishment, dedication of the new street between Pleasant Hill, Plants Way, as required by a result of the vacating, is also approval was given with the recommendations that curbing be required to the extent north from northeast corner of the intersection of Pleasant Hill Drive and the newly established connector street along that what will be the remaining pavement on the east side of Pleasant Hill Drive, and that the developer place any, I don't know what that word is, sidewalks along. Deteriorated, there, I couldn't even pronounce it. Vita-owned properties from Lane Street, Hill Street. Additionally, Planning Commission recommends that the approval of the vacating plat of Pleasant Hill Drive be contingent upon the approval of the acceptance of the newly established connected street.
Now, the one question I have is Avita aware of these recommendations?
Yes.
And I'm assuming they're aware and they accept?
That's why it's on the plan.
Okay.
So they did accept all these recommendations?
Yes, sir.
So in the last part of this letter, it says proposed zoning reclassification on 615 and 619 Plants Way, parcel ID, from designated urban neighborhood residential district R3 to the general business. So the street's going to be approved before we take it to an before we take it to an R3. We have to have the street in, correct?
Not for them.
We don't?
That was
Come on up.
my Starner Service Safety Director. It wasn't to do the R, that was to vacate that alley for the street to be approved first.
The street has to be approved before they vacate the alley
Right.
because we have to have a throughway, correct?
But not to make the house or the parcels are to GB, general business.
R3 to GB,
Yeah, they can do that. You can do that now.
okay.
No matter what, they can be general business.
All right.
The street has nothing to do with those.
Thank you, sir.
Mike, you got anything on this?
What do you need to know, Jim? Here's the preliminary new street plan and profile.
Okay, point to where you wanted the sidewalks on Plants Way. Or no, you wanted the curves. Yeah, I'm gonna make you get up.
Okay. The sidewalks on the south side were deemed that we do not need them because of grading and the amount of sidewalk usage. So the north side is going in It's tying it into the existing sidewalks that are there on the west side of Plants Way. And the crosswalk here is connecting to the sidewalk going south, and that will be cleared off when it's built.
So the sidewalk facing the hospital
Here,
on the opposite side, facing the hospital on the opposite side where the new build is going,
right,
they're gonna put in new sidewalks because those are deteriorating.
up to a point. Actually, that's right there.
Okay,
So from here up is existing, from here down is all new.
okay.
And there's going to be a retaining wall, not a full height one, but from here down to a point, just so the grading can be done and it's not going to be a 12-foot high retaining wall. No.
So you're
This
also,
will be all curb and gutter going up, because the roadway is 9.5%. And steepest street in town.
so you're also asking for, the street where, was it Plants Way?
Plants Way here
Um,
or Pleasant Hill?
Pleasant Hill. Pleasant Hill, you're asking for curbs too, correct?
Just to the curb returns. And then it's stopping. Because we're not doing curb and gutter all the way down Pleasant Hill.
Okay.
It's just stopping at the right of way of the new street.
All right. Anybody got any questions? Aaron? Vicki?
No.
For some reason, I cannot bring up the dedication plat for the new street on here.
So, so exactly what do you need from us legislation-wise?
Need legislation to go ahead with the dedication plat, but also, Dylan had mentioned the agreement for when Pleasant Hill Drive is gonna be vacated, that, there's an agreement that Avita will build the relocated street prior to. So the new street's gonna be started construction before the plants, or Pleasant Hill gets closed. And we need the general business classification changed on the 3 lots.
So we need 3 pieces of legislation.
Yes. The vacation, the dedication, and then the zoning change.
I have a motion for the vacation of, that's Pleasant Hill, right?
Part of.
I have a motion for the vacation of Pleasant Hill,
Well, part of Pleasant Hill.
part of Pleasant Hill. Actually, it's 236 feet.
If I may interject.
Yes,
We already have a draft piece of legislation for the alley vacation.
do we?
Mr. Grobrick just needs to input this vacation plat that we got today.
Okay.
So if we need to schedule another meeting to schedule a public hearing, we can do that then. Without him inputting that information, I can't schedule a public hearing because that'll need to go out with notice.
Right.
Okay, what do you need from us today?
I mean, I can let him know that these things need edited, and then for the dedication's probably the newer one that we actually need to request some draft legislation from him for, and that one would probably require a motion in a second then. The other two, I believe, already have something to the effect
Already
of
been
the
asked
draft,
for.
yeah.
Okay, so we're all good with that.
So we're just requesting legislation for the dedication,
Draft legislation.
draft legislation.
Because then you can send it all at the same time.
All right, I guess I can make a motion to request legislation,
Draft.
draft legislation for the dedication. There's a lot of Ds.
Draft legislation for the dedication. Flat. I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, Aaron?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Motion passes. So we can't set a date yet for a public hearing.
I mean, it would be,
I say as soon as he makes those, you could call us or email us.
right, we can schedule a public hearing at a different time. Like, I could get everything back to me by next Tuesday, and then we can call a special meeting Wednesday, and then schedule a public hearing then. Currently,
Do we need
though,
to call a special meeting to schedule a public hearing, or do we just schedule?
yeah, that would be the generalized purpose, would be to schedule a public hearing for those three topics, and then that would be the only thing that could be discussed and then scheduled.
So Aaron, you want like after 5, right?
Oh, it's summer right now.
Oh,
for
so
the
you
most
don't have
part, I'm
anything
okay.
going on?
For the most
All right.
part.
So we're thinking of scheduling a special committee meeting
Correct.
next week. And the purpose of that meeting will be to look at the revised legislation
And then-
drafts based on the recommendations of the Planning Commission.
And then further to schedule. a
Got it.
public hearing.
Okay.
And then, I mean, if you guys wanted to schedule that, I mean, we can do that. That way he has a deadline or however you want to go about it, but I don't know with,
I don't know with what's going on, if we can.
Mike, Tommy, you need anything else from us on this subject?
The only thing I want to add on this is with the delay on this, with Avita owning the lot or property where the new street is going, since they already own it, it's private property, it's not a dedicated right-of-way yet. It's not dedicated right-of-way until we receive it and do the dedication plat, because we don't, to sign off on the dedication plat, that can be done at any time. I don't think that there is a deadline for it, but I don't think it absolutely has to be done before shovel hits the ground. I'd have to ask Dylan on that one, but they could start earthwork before the change in the zoning use, since they own it. They can do earthwork, but they can't start construction of the building until everything's been approved. So, and since building plans just got submitted to Richland County, that review process will be probably starting tomorrow or Monday. So, and I have to review the site plan. So,
Those won't probably be approved till the end of the week.
and then plus we have the 4th next week.
Okay, what do you need from us?
What's that?
What do you need from us?
Just, we need that public hearing scheduled.
As soon as we get the
zoning change-
legislation,
Legislation.
Yeah, I know.
as soon as we get the legislation, we'll get that.
So just so we can get the ball rolling.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, then, do we want to go ahead and schedule a special meeting for next
Yeah, and I can make him aware of that deadline as well.
I thought we had to wait till we get to legislation. I don't know, do we?
Well, I thought we're going to schedule a special committee meeting, at which time, hopefully the law director, will have the legislation drafts that we already have revised based on the recommendations of the Planning Commission. We'll have those to look at and hopefully approve.
Do we have meetings next week?
No.
Mm-mm.
So those are gonna be the 8th and the 10th?
Yeah, the next council meeting will be the,
Yeah.
8th and 10th, you said, next council meeting.
Or do you want to check with the law director first and,
I can do that and
I
send
think
you
it'd
guys
be
an
a good
email.
idea to
I'm
check
fine.
with them, because if things are bad,
sure.
it may take a second.
I'll check in with you.
Yeah, and just get with us like you always do, so that's good.
Okay. Sunoco zoning reclassification. They didn't do anything with that yet? Resubmit a letter for the proper wording?
No, they haven't, and I haven't had a chance to get a hold of him for him to resubmit that letter.
So table that.
Okay, so that's
I'll table
table.
that.
Open projects?
But, hold on, Jim. But also, in that same issue, that also is falling in what we're changing in ad hoc with the boundaries of the downtown business district.
Okay.
So I don't know which would get changed first, his zoning change or the change of the zoning, or zoning district would be done first and approved first before his change.
Yeah.
So what's gonna get done first, the zoning change or if we change it now?
The check-in. I would like to think that we'd be able to get the map done before, it might be quicker for the map change to be done, because then he wouldn't have to go through having the zoning change done for him to
4 months of,
remodel and rebuild his business.
okay.
Okay, so that I'm understanding correctly here, you're stating, what do we want to do first?
The zoning for the city. 'Cause
Okay.
If the zoning for the city gets changed and it puts him right where he needs to be, then he doesn't even have to do all these extra steps.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So I think we're actually looking at that anyway.
That's our next ad hoc meeting. It's gonna be doing the map boundaries.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, open projects.
The only notation I make is the tiny homes. We can take that off the Platting Committee, open project,
Yep.
because that was referred Tuesday night to the ad hoc. Our special ad hoc for zoning map. And just a reminder that once it goes into a special ad hoc committee, it's that committee then that requests the legislation. It does not come back to the original committee that it was referred to, so, okay, that's all I had on that.
Okay. Nothing, Aaron? Public participation. Seeing none, meeting adjourned at 6:58.
Finance Committee meeting to order at 6:58 PM. Members present are Mr. Me, Mr. Moritz, Mrs. Hashan, and myself, Chair. Any public participation for finance? Seeing none, the two topics on our agenda were both removed from their previous committees, so they will also not be addressed here. Ms. Lewis, do you have anything for us?
No.
Mr. Me, is there any open projects you wish to discuss this evening?
I'm good today, sir. Thank
Mr.
you.
Moritz?
Open projects? No.
Mrs. DeShawn,
Yes.
have at it.
Real quick, just the removal of the ODNR grant for the All Miller Park Trail. That emergency piece of legislation was passed at Tuesday's council meeting, so that could come off.
Got that one, Miranda? All right.
That's all I have.
Okay, any public participation? Seeing none, we'll adjourn at 6:59 PM.